the 2025 Royal Rumble. Oh, it's going to be rocking in Indianapolis, Indiana this Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific. That's right, an early start time, so mark your calendars and synchronize your watches with God's favorite host in the Flex Zone. We got you. Getting you ready for the Royal Rumble, giving you our match previews. You know I'm going to be breaking it down for you. 30 men, 30 women enter with a trip to WrestleMania in Las Vegas on the line. We got your previews. We got some matches to talk about. And we're ready for one of the biggest events, one of my favorite events of the year. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Welcome all of our new subscribers. You're going to love it here, I promise. Make sure you spare that subscribe button. Go ahead and tombstone that thumbs up. It helps us out tremendously in the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you backdrop that bell. Leave a comment, any comment. Royal Rumble prediction. Who wins the Royal Rumble? What is your WrestleMania matches you want to see? Who makes it to the Final Four? What else do you want to see happen at the Royal Rumble? Any surprises? What did you have for breakfast? What you going to have for dinner? What did you have for lunch? Any emoji helps us out tremendously as we get into Royal Rumble preview and predictions. Now, our first match that we are going to look at is, surprisingly enough, we were wondering. I even asked the last few weeks. We got the men's Royal Rumble, we got the women's Royal Rumble, and we have Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens in a ladder match. What is the fourth match that would indeed be added to this card? Lo and behold, not a women's match, not a Intercontinental Championship match, not a United States Championship match. It is going to be a Tag Team Championship match, as we actually have the reigning WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions of DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, facing the Motor City Machine Guns in a 2-out-of-3 falls match. Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin of Motor City Machine Guns, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa of DIY. And since for the first time on a premium live event, we actually have a tag team wrestling match for the championships. Now, we've heard a few weeks back, a lot of outlets were reporting that there is a renewed focus, a renewed concentration on the wrestling of the tag teams, the tag team division in WWE. We've seen DIY turn heel. Of course, we've seen the debut of the Motor City Machine Guns. The War Raiders are back on Raw. Their division is severely lacking, in my opinion, but we can talk about that later on because they've only had, one defense in their first 40-some-odd days. Nevertheless, these are two of the best teams in WWE in the world right now. It's going to be 65, close to 70,000 people in Indianapolis. They are going to tear the house down for this 2-out-of-3 falls match. I'm guessing they'll put this match somewhere in the middle of the show, but this is something I'm looking forward to. I think if they give these two teams 20 to 25 minutes, go out there, produce a well-timed match, I would even say give them 30 minutes because you want to really tell a good story with these teams. And like I said, you've seen, in my opinion, it's divisive among the community. Some people love the tag team division, where they're heading, and especially what they're doing on SmackDown. It's one of the best things about SmackDown, and what has become one of the most boring weekly shows moved to 3 hours. Some people are indifferent to it because we've heard this how many times, and they never consistently follow through with it. Now, when you tell us that, we've seen not only DIY, not only Motor City Machine Guns, we've seen the Street Profits, even though I think while we haven't seen them, we will see them on Saturday. Got Los Garza of Legado del Fantasma. They're really good. You have some tag teams in that division. Pretty Deadly was featured a lot as of late. It even led to Apollo Crews getting a match on TV and actually even getting a win. Yes, Apollo Crews.
Oh! Go Google it.
Yes, Apollo Crews, or as I call him, Apollo Snooze. Oh, I'm sorry. I snoozed off for a second. I had the crickets going, but they are telling a story. And I think when you have this isn't really a division, it has some good teams to start with. It has pillars, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, since they debuted their first couple of weeks. They beat Los Garza, then they pretty much get a tag team championship match against the Bloodline. They beat them. They're pretty much pushed to the moon. We've seen the hot shotting. We've seen it for years in wrestling promotions. Tony Khan, Paul Levesque has done it. And they get the World Tag Team Championship from the Bloodline before Survivor Series. Right then and there, you knew WWE had a big plan for them. Then they do the heel turn of DIY. Kind of wish they would have put that maybe on Saturday night's main event, but they do it on SmackDown. They win the tag team titles back after losing it to the Bloodline. So there is some long-term storytelling here. So they've taken something from October, November, all the way through December, all the way through January. So for 3+ months, they've been telling a story with the tag team division. We've seen DIY attack the Street Profits. The Street Profits come back looking for blood, get involved with Los Garza, beat them. Then Apollo Crews tells them, no, it wasn't them. You were played. It was Pretty Deadly covering for DIY to get a tag team championship match. Pretty Deadly is then exposed and they're beat. It's a wonderful, simple but effective story to showcase each team, give each team meaning, showcase that they have something. It is a start. Now, I would love to see Fraxium called up from NXT. I would love to see, I guess, Noam Dar, that tag team they have, maybe the D'Angelo family. They need some more depth on both shows in a tag team division. I want them to go back to having one set of titles that spring from Raw. Maybe even, if you want to put them on NXT, you don't have to, but Raw and SmackDown. There's not enough teams for 2 separate titles. I thought we were getting American Made on SmackDown. I thought we were getting the transfer window of major moves. We've gotten some, but nothing really in the tag team division. Now, I think what could happen here, maybe the loser of this match could head to Raw. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because I think what we're going to see here is Motor City Machine Guns getting the first fall, DIY getting the second fall. We'll probably get a lot of callbacks to that NXT TakeOver 2016 in Toronto. DIY, as one of the greatest tag team matches in company history. We'll get a lot of callbacks to that probably. And we'll get the return of the Street Profits to cost DIY, because remember, DIY attacked them. The Street Profits will get their revenge. It keeps DIY strong. They lose due to interference. Motor City Machine Guns get their titles back that they rightfully deserve as they were cheated when they turned heel. Then the Street Profits and DIY have a ready-made feud, not involving the titles, having a story already been about the attack. From there, you get to a situation where you can maybe even do the Street Profits beating DIY, and you can get the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns, maybe even at WrestleMania. Because what is the Motor City Machine Guns going to be doing? What is DIY going to be doing? What are the Street Profits going to be doing? Those are your 3 top teams on SmackDown. You got to have them involved. We could get a triple threat tag team match, inevitably, maybe a triple threat ladder match, or we could just get a triple threat regular tag team match. But I think we'll get DIY Street Profits first. Street Profits win that feud, however that goes, however many matches they get out of that. And I think they go back to Motor City Machine Guns, possibly against Street Profits, because the Street Profits have not held championship gold in multiple years. We've heard Montez Ford frustrated. Angelo Dawkins has improved so much. We don't want them to break up. We just want them pushed and utilized. We can push Montez and Angelo. They don't have to break up. It can be a New Day situation when they have to sing. I think Motor City Machine Guns wins the first fall. DIY wins the second fall. In the third fall, we get the return of the Street Profits. They get involved. Cost DIY. Motor City is your new tag team champions again. 2-time tag team champions in their first, 4 months in the company. Then we get the Street Profits over DIY. Then we maybe get Motor City Machine Guns and the Street Profits down the line. I think ultimately, maybe even at WrestleMania or sometime not too long after, we get the Street Profits eventually winning the tag team championships for the first time in a good amount of years. I know there's a lot of pieces to that, but there have been a lot of pieces to this tag team division. It's not perfect. It's far from a finished product. It needs a lot more teams. At least, like I said, maybe an American Made, calling up Fraxium. I think another 2 to 3 solid teams. Like I said, you could go for the D'Angelo. You could go young. You could just go Noir and Fraxium. Then you got 2 teams right there. I mean, I don't know what the fans would get invested in them, but you could have some new blood on SmackDown, especially with the 3-hour show. But I'm going with Motor City Machine Guns to get their tag team titles back. And I think indeed it will be, a match that can steal the show. I'm actually excited for it. I actually love tag team wrestling. I'm glad they're slowly putting an emphasis on tag team wrestling again. Like I said, this has been growing since October, pretty much before Survivor Series, now heading into February. So remember, the Royal Rumble is a week later this year. 1st of February is going to be close to 70,000 people there in Indy. I know you're going to be loud. If you're going to the show, have fun. Got some Flex Zone family members who will be in the building. Say what's up to them. But make sure you comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the match. What do you think about the Royal Rumble? What are your predictions? Sound off in the comment section. Spear that subscribe button. Make sure you tombstone that thumbs up, backbreaker that bell, and sound off. Like I said, let me know your thoughts on the match, your predictions. I'm going with the Street Profits returning, costing DIY. Motor City gets their belts back. We get DIY Street Profits, then the Street Profits eventually, and Motor City, and maybe even a triple threat WrestleMania. And then we eventually, inevitably, maybe even at WrestleMania, get the Street Profits to win the tag team championships for the first time in multiple years. But sound off down below. We'll see you Saturday, 6 p.m. start time. Remember, 6 p.m. bell time, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific. God's favorite host. We'll see you with more previews right here on the Flex Zone Podcast, your home for all the wrestling content, giving you sports and wrestling content how you want it, when you need it. It's Royal Rumble week. Let's get excited. It's of the way.